and she continued to lose weight each passing day till she became too skinny. This troubled Modupe as people also began to call her all sorts of names. A long time ago, in a little town called Agbado, there lived a girl named Modupe. She was the only child of her late parents. Modupe was very beautiful and hardworking. Not only that, she was peaceful and respectful. People often refer to her as the most beautiful girl in Agbado town. All the young men in the town wished to marry her, but Modupe's heart only beat for Kunle. People in the town thought she was under a spell because no sane woman would be in a relationship with the likes of Kunle. He was not exactly good looking, neither did he have a sustainable source of income. Kunle was a narcissist. He was arrogant, but Modupe loved him regardless and promised to be beside him and support him through thick and thin. All was well, and it did not take long before they got married. Everyone in the town was disappointed at her, but she paid no attention and believed Kunle was going to change for the better. Modupe supported his business with all her savings she had accumulated over the years, and soon things began to do well for him. Few months into the marriage, Modupe became pregnant. When it was time, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Yemisi. Modupe and Kunle were so happy, but this was the beginning of all her troubles. Modupe gained some weight as a result of childbirth, but Kunle hated her because of this. He constantly ridiculed her and lectured her on the need to shred her weight, even when she was still nursing Yemisi. Modupe pleaded with him to see reasons with her, but Kunle constantly told her that adding some weight made her ugly and less of a woman. He began to act irritated around her, which made Modupe go into depression, coupled with the nursing of her child. But Kunle was more concerned about her looks. Kunle started having an affair. He gave the mistress a free pass to shame Modupe. If you don't go back to how you used to be, I'll be forced to take a second wife, Kunle said to Modupe. Modupe was sad and heartbroken, but there was nothing much she could do. She succeeded in losing a few weight, but Kunle was still not satisfied. Few months passed. Kunle's business continued to do well. He married another wife who was very slim with a tiny waist. Her name was Yetunde, and Kunle idolized her. He spoiled her with all sorts of gifts, and shortly after, she became pregnant and had a son. This was like a dream come true for Kunle. He completely neglected Modupe. Modupe was heartbroken, but she had no choice than to pick up her broken pieces and work harder. Not a day passed that she did not do her best to win back Kunle's love, but she was constantly met with disappointment. Yetunde had a daughter after, and she remained in her petite nature. Modupe continued to live her sad life, hoping for a day Kunle's love for her would return. But she was constantly disappointed, and Yemisi grew up to see the hatred for women with big body sizes. However, Yemisi too was not left out. Few years after she reached puberty, she changed. She was no longer slim like she had hoped for. Rather, she began to add some weight, and some masculine features became noticeable. Yemisi was sad. She tried all she could to change herself, but nothing seemed to work. Yemisi, who was known to be very confident, became different. She began to isolate herself, afraid of what people might think. Modupe encouraged her to be confident and not to be idle, but she was not a good example for her to look up to. She was consumed by the humiliation that her mother received while she was growing up. Her father Kunle believed women were supposed to look a certain way, and so Yemisi grew up to think that that was all it was to a woman. One day at school, a young boy called Yemisi a hippopotamus. Yemisi cried all through that day as her classmates laughed at her. There was a girl in her class named Destiny who had experienced such fate in the past, but shockingly, Destiny became very slim after the school resumed from a holiday. Yemisi was so eager to change herself, so she decided to approach Destiny. She confided in her and Destiny offered to help her. It was a medicine my grandmother gave to me. When I started taking it, it did not take long. I became very slim. In a space of 2 weeks, to the extent I had to stop, so I don't become too skinny, Destiny said to Yemisi as she offered to help her. If it works for me, I promise to be forever grateful to you, Yemisi said to Destiny. Destiny told her how much it was worth. That day, Yemisi thought of a way she could get the money from her mother, because she would never give her the money for a purpose as such. And so she lied to her mother that the money was needed for her school examination registration. Modupe gave the money without hesitation, and Yemisi gave it to Destiny. Destiny gave her the local medicine. It was strange and had an odd smell, but Yemisi did not mind. She took the bottle from Destiny and did exactly what she was instructed. That night, after drinking it, Yemisi visited the toilet like she had never did in her entire life. She almost vomited her intestine, but still she stayed strong as she was very eager to look different. She hid it from her mother and hoped for it to work so her mother could try it out in order to look good and acceptable by her father. When I finally lose this weight, I will be beautiful and my monthly flow will be normal again, Yemisi said to herself. 1 week passed. Yemisi's weight loss became visible. She felt good and confident once more. People stopped bullying her, and in the space of 2 weeks, she looked just like the other girls in her class. She was so happy, and so she decided to stop as instructed by Destiny. Yemisi became slender. She was very happy and confident. All who saw her admired her. She was just like her mother Modupe when she was young. All who neglected her began to make friends with her, as she was the most beautiful girl in her class. But things took a left turn when the effect of the medicine continued, even when she had stopped taking it. The stooling and vomiting continued, and she continued to lose weight each passing day, till she became too skinny. This troubled Modupe as people also began to call her all sorts of names. She asked Yemisi if anything was wrong, and Yemisi denied it. Modupe became very suspicious that Yemisi was hiding something from her. She searched all of Yemisi's things but found no medicine. Few days later, Yemisi became very sick. She started passing out blood. Modupe rushed her to the hospital, where it was discovered that there was an organism that was eating her up from the inside due to the harshness of the medicine Destiny sold for her. Yemisi felt horrible and opened up to her mother. Why did you do such a thing? You are beautiful no matter the shape you are in, Modupe said as she began to cry. The doctor told them that they would have to perform a surgery on her as her condition was severe. Modupe quickly rushed home and begged Kunle, explaining the situation at hand so that he could help with some money, but Kunle refused. Let her remain skinny, Kunle said to Modupe. Modupe had no time to waste. She took some of her valuables and sold them immediately for Yemisi's medical bills. Yemisi was filled with regret. She prayed for her surgery to be successful and vowed never to do such thing again. Yemisi went through with the surgery and began to heal. During her days at the hospital, various tests were carried out and she discovered that she had a condition known as polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, which was responsible for her weight gain, masculine features, and irregular monthly flow. The doctor advised her on what and what not to do, and days later, she was discharged from the hospital. Although it took months to regain herself completely, Yemisi was forever grateful for life. She became the most confident person in her school, after which there was a serious punishment for bullies in the school. Modupe, on realizing the kind of person Kunle was and the harm he had caused, took her things and that of Yemisi, left him and started a new life, embracing confidence and healthier lifestyle. Few years later, Yetunde and her children suddenly went missing after she persuaded Kunle to invest all his money in a fraudulent business. After which, he found out that Yetunde had duped him and the children were not his. Kunle was left heartbroken with no money, no wife, and no child. He spent the rest of his life regretting what he had done. This is the end of this story. The moral lesson of this story is to embrace confidence even when the society tries to tear us down, and also to be careful of our hurtful words and actions, as we do not know the harm it may cause to people. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, kindly hit on the like and subscribe button. Do not forget to share this video. Comment what you learned from today's story and where you are watching from below. We love and appreciate you. See you soon.